Hi, everyone. It's Don Sanders. We had a little mess up there. My screen wouldn't show. And I want to thank everybody for turning out today for a webinar that I've been wanting to do for a long time. EQP pricing, in my opinion, has done a lot of damage to this industry because I think we've gotten away from selling and we've gotten into trying to beat distributors by selling on price. And I just don't think that's the way to do this. So if you'll just hear me out through the webinar, I think you'll understand what I'm saying, and it'll help you on the back end to be better at selling promotional products. And first off, I want to thank all the suppliers whose logos are shown on the screen right now. I would not recommend any supplier or industry technology service to you unless I believed in them completely. And Tiffany Tarr is going to be here in just a second to introduce herself to you. And then as we move through, at the end, she will do a complete presentation on how to let technology help you. Now, the one thing that I wanted to find out is who actually created EQP pricing and does it sell more orders? Well, in my opinion, it does not. But I think that EQP started because there used to be about 1,000 suppliers in this industry. And then all of a sudden we jumped from 1 to 3,000 suppliers. And I really think the additional suppliers were not confident in selling their products. So the only way they could get distributors to buy from them was to lower their prices. And in turn, distributors think they have to lower their prices to get orders from customers. And my attitude is you don't sell on price, you sell on different ways to sell products. And don't be like the man there cutting the grass. That can be a distributor doing that to a supplier or vice versa. And if you're that way, you're not going to sell very many orders at all. Now, with that said, I'm going to just put it real bluntly to you. Do you want to be like Blockbuster or do you want to be like Netflix? Where are all the Blockbusters? Well, I think they're like price cutters. They've all gone away. I'd rather be like Netflix that changed their platform and learned what to do to make sure they would survive. And I get emails all the time from distributors that want training. And I never hear from 60% of them again because they go out and they try and sell based on price. But one of the things that's really important to remember today is using technology properly. I have a $5 off coupon from Distributor Central on the screen. That's a great service with DC where you can enter orders for certain suppliers and you get a $5 discount. Now, Tiffany is with me. I want her to introduce herself to you. I have the utmost confidence in her abilities, and she can help you deal with EQP pricing and distributors that take your orders. Are you there, Tiffany?
I am. Thanks, Don, for having me. My name is Tiffany Tarr. I'm with Distributor Central, and Don made a really good point in working with suppliers just to get the best pricing. The more that you're in, there being 1,000 suppliers and there being 3,000 suppliers, there's just no reason to do business with 1,000 suppliers. Most distributors that I talk to that have really good partnerships and relationships with their suppliers and are able to kind of negotiate and work around maybe some of the pitfalls that you might see with suppliers you don't have the best relationship with, is that they really focus on their core group of suppliers and make sure that they're funneling as much business and building as much of a relationship with those suppliers as possible. And one of the tools inside Distributor Central is the ability to filter the suppliers down to your core group of suppliers that you're working with, and maybe you're getting proprietary pricing. And so your account will allow you to search for those suppliers and only display those products from those suppliers on your website so that you're guiding your customers even digitally on the products that you know are going to be tried and true, and you know that you're going to be able to provide the best service on. So giving your website a really focused set of products is something that we'll talk a little bit about today. And I really think that that is a big key to success in making sure that you have a good relationship with your suppliers and that you're only promoting and selling products that you know are going to be a value add to your customer. So that's what we'll talk a little bit about today here at the end.
So I agree with Tiffany completely. I used to, back in the day when I sold promotional products in a great volume, I had 20 suppliers who I sold from, and I would take the same 20 catalogs when I would go out and call on people, because I could take whatever product was in one of those catalogs and I could adapt it to the sale that I was going to make with that customer. So I agree with what Tiffany said completely. Now, if we're wanting to get EQP pricing, I'm not going to call it that. I'm going to say how to receive preferred supplier services, because what suppliers can offer you besides a lower price is they can do free virtuals for you. They will send you samples. If they have reps, the reps will go out and make calls with you. Back in the day, 3M rep used to come and call on us when we called on our big accounts. And I sold a $55,000 3M Post-it note order because the rep helped me do it. And I'll get better rush order service from suppliers that I do business with, because they want to keep me in the line of someone doing business with them. And if you want to get this type of service, I would say that you need to utilize technology the right way. Tiffany's going to show you how to do that, how to follow up, how to be creative, fulfilling those rush orders. So many distributors have no clue how to do a rush order, how the new networking is going to affect your business, how to find prospects, stop those objections, and communicate better. So if we're going to get better pricing, or EQP pricing, it needs to be earned and not given. And right now we have a great coupons on the screen from Burlingame and Southern Plus, two of my favorite suppliers. Now, let me give you an example. I just went to the ASI Chicago show last week. There I am with the little number one thing from ASI, and I had a little test I wanted to do. I went by the Empire booth. I know Harvey Mackler with Empire so well, and I went and stood in his booth, and I talked to 20 different distributors who came up to visit him, and out of 20, 11 only asked about pricing. Well, what kind of pricing can you give me? Can you give me EQP pricing? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Well, only 9 asked for selling ideas, and they learned about Harvey's new program, where if you buy custom caps from him, you get the same amount of lapel pins with a different logo on it if you'd like, and you can use this as a way to pitch this service to a customer. I would rather have learned about this than learned about I could get a cheaper price. And to reiterate on that, you get free lapel pins from Empire. I'm just showing you this because I like Harvey, but I'm telling you what you would have missed if you'd have walked up his booth and just wanted to know about pricing. He does trucker caps. He does really neat trucker caps, which are back and so hot right now. And with every order that you sell 100 trucker caps, you get 100 free lapel pins. You sell 200, you get 200 free. These hats are popular, and people love to take pins and put them on these hats. And with Sturgis coming up, the motorcycle rally coming, I think that would be a great thing to sell trucker caps to your customers for bikers that are going to Sturgis, and they can have different little lapel pins on the bill or on the body of the cap. Harvey at Empire.com for this program. Another thing I learned that helps me fight price sellers. Let's talk about distributors that are out here just selling on price, beating you to death. If I went up to the 3M booth, I asked the person I deal with at 3M, well, tell me what's going on. I didn't say give me better pricing. Well, I've been selling 3M Post-it notes for almost 35 years, and I knew they had a regular adhesive note, and I knew they had an extreme adhesive note, but I did not know they had a note called sticky adhesive. So 3M has 3 types of adhesive. I would not have learned this if I was worried about pricing. Learning this information protects me from cheap sellers. Somebody comes along and says, well, I can buy notes cheaper someplace else. You ask the customer, well, what adhesive do you want? The customer is going to say, well, I don't know. I just thought there was one adhesive. Then you can go through the different applications for Post-it notes. Regular adhesive, the stick to anywhere. Those will stick on walls, doors, refrigerators. Extreme goes on cold and like cold surfaces outdoors. But the problem is, if you don't know this, you cannot beat price sellers. Want samples at 3M? You can email me, Don at sellpromoproducts.com. Now, in-person networking is back. First time that I'd been to a show, Tiffany went to the ASI show too, we actually got to see and talk to people. That is coming back as a way to get business. And what I've done in networking is I used to have mats, or I still have mats from Logo Mats. I would go to a networking event and I would take the mat, I would put it down on the floor in the conference room or wherever the cocktail party was, and I would stand on my mat. Now, do you know how many people would come up to me because I was standing on my mat? Nearly every one of them. You want an icebreaker? You learn how to get customers that don't shop you on price. People that come up to you standing on your mat know you've got some personality, and they're the kind of people you can sell. M. Wadsworth at LogoMatsLLC.com for samples. And I'm going to talk a little bit about selling mats more, but stand on your mat at networking events. And when you're at networking events, to do away with price sellers, ask questions. Most people don't ask anything. They just say, hey, you want to buy something? I can sell it to you cheaper. I sell a jillion things. That's not the way to do this. But what I did, I wanted to have a tattoo of a horned frog somewhere on my body because I went to TCU. So I didn't know what to do about that, but I bought 50 temporary tattoos from Sticker U. And every time I would go out, I would put my tattoo on the top of my hand, on my wrist, and I would ask my customers, especially when I do this with networking, I'd say, well, what do you think about having a tattoo there? I am telling you, I've met more people by wearing temporary tattoos. People don't do these things. I do it. That's the reason that I sell a lot. That's the reason I don't have to deal with price competitors, because I deal with people that want quality and want to deal with somebody with a personality. StickerU.com, promo at StickerU.com. If you want samples of temporary tattoos, ask people, have you been shot up? Where were you born? I chat people up. When I make them my friends, they don't shop around. Remember, friends do not shop around. And while networking, I don't use regular business cards. The ones I've been pitching lately are my seed paper cards from Gympire. They tell a story. This is a business card that you can soak in water, plant in dirt, and it grows into a plant. This type of introduction material gets you, or it demonstrates that you are not a product pusher. You are a creative person to deal with. And on the back of the cards, it shows you the instructions on how you plant your card and make it into a plant. Again, Harvey at Gympire.com for seed paper cards. I can't impress on you enough about being unusual is how to do business today. And on seed paper, I'm just telling you, there are 6 different types I'm showing on the screen right now. Coffee wraps, postcards, coasters, certificate holders, seed sticks, door hangers. These are great talk about products. Harvey at Gympire.com for seed paper information and products. Now, I destroy price sellers by asking questions, because price sellers know nothing. All they know is one thing: I'm cheaper. They don't know how to sell any other way. So I eliminate those cheap competitors by asking my customers questions. You need your order delivered on time? Of course, yes. Want products that last? Of course, yes. Concerned about imprinting with toxic inks? You got somebody who's going to get notes cheaper from somebody else? Well, they'll say, what do you mean toxic inks? I said, well, some products are imprinted with toxic inks. Oh, I didn't know that. The price seller didn't tell me. Well, of course, they don't care. Do you want products that people want to use? You ask people these questions, they're all affirming, yes. Want American-made products? This is the way I shut down price sellers, because price sellers don't tell the people that they are selling about these things because they don't care. I seek smart buyers, not dumb buyers who always want it cheaper. That guy looks like he's dumber than a stump. I know people that do business with those type of people. I will not do it, nor should you. Great coupon on the screen right now for ID line, for name badges. We're going to talk about that shortly. Now let's talk about American-made samples. Right now there's a terrific problem with supply chain, and cheaper sellers cannot get their products delivered. So if you're ordering something and say, I need it in 5 days, they'll say, no, we're out of resin. We can't get the product, et cetera, et cetera. But like on selling drinkware, I know Makana Makana is a great supplier. They have drinkware products in stock. It's not only drinkware, it can be cups, it could be pins. All these suppliers that are selling cheap that would give you automatic EQP, they'll tell you anything to get your orders and they cannot deliver. So I deal with suppliers who do not have inventory shortages. Brandon at McConaugheyLine.com. You email him up, say Sanders said I need to get a sample from you, and get you some American-made drinkware samples. It will just help you compete with cheaper sellers. Now, I stop price objections by knowing the history of who I deal with. I've talked about Edwards in these webinars before, but dealing with family-owned suppliers, long time in business, they are not having supply chain problems. My customers know where their orders come from. They know that when I sell golf shirts or sell wearables, uniform programs, I'm going to do them for Edwards because I tell my customers where I get my products from. And other people say, Don, how can you do that? Well, it's easy. I use it as a qualifier. I don't sell people I think that would go behind my back, and I tell them about suppliers. People say, oh, I didn't know Edwards was the competitor of Levi's back in 1867 or whenever this was. They started out, customers like the history of where their products are coming from. And let's talk about selling uniform programs. This is one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life. The Dallas Zoo was a customer of mine for 10, 12 years. I did their volunteer program. Not once did I talk to the zoo about their uniforms. I'm bringing this up because in this instance, I don't want you to be like me. I never mentioned uniforms to the Dallas Zoo. They could all zoo employees wear uniforms, including those penguins. That's kind of funny. They do look good. But restaurant employees, food cart staff, exhibit directors, tour guides, volunteers, they all buy uniforms. I never knew how to sell programs. Email Brett Garrett, bgarrett at edwardsgarment.com. He will help you sell uniform programs so you don't end up like me missing opportunity. I feel bad about that ever since. Now, here's another thing cheap sellers don't tell you. There's a lot of out-of-date sanitizer out here. Back a year ago, there was too much sanitizer made. It is out of date, but cheap sellers don't care. They don't go to customers and say, oh, it's cheaper because it's outdated. They don't care. They just want to sell. Well, I tell people that my hand sanitizer comes from Snug Z. Snug Z makes their own hand sanitizer in Salt Lake City. They are current. They do not sell out-of-date sanitizer. Somebody's going to be cheaper than you on sanitizer? Ask the customer. Well, is the sanitizer they're selling you out of date? That customer is going to say, well, I don't know. Well, that's how you inform them, and that's how you get their business. The same way with mats. We're going to need to have mats to be in front of hand sanitizer stations. You can get the 120-ounce containers that fill up these stations from Snug Z's, but you can get mats from Logo Mats, M. Wadsworth at logomatsllc.com. These are two products that the customers that I have for them know their hand sanitizer comes from Snugs, know that their mats come from Logo Mats, because I know they won't go behind my back. Now, other distributors ask me all the time about further training besides what we do, or Tiffany and I do in these webinars. David Blaze has got several training programs that are very effective. How to acquire customers, how to dominate the market, how to hire people, how to get started in the industry. Trained distributors know how to handle price objections. So if you want to learn more about David's programs, there's no obligation. I've known him for almost 16, 18 years. You can email him, David at blazedrake.com. There's their phone number on the screen. If you want further training that I cannot provide you, because we do not sell training materials, I do not, I do these webinars, but David does this, and I would recommend you contacting him and let him send you a sample of one of his training programs. Doesn't cost you a thing, and I would vouch for him. Now, people ask me all the time, Don, I'm having a hard time making decision makers. How do I meet people that buy the products? Well, D Magazine came out last month with their annual Realtor issue. All this is an issue full of realtor ads. It has some content in it, but what I do is, if I was looking to get a bunch of new customers, I would have gotten that magazine, opened it up. There is the phone number, that's the cell phone number, the email for nearly every realtor in town. There must be 3,000 in that magazine. So if I was someone looking for business, I would get all these email addresses. I would have a really cute email with a nice subject line about keep open houses is clean, stop grime from going in your listings, and I would email them, and then I would leave messages on their cell phone, like when I knew they wouldn't answer. I don't want to chat people up. I get nervous. I want to leave them a detailed message and see if they'll call me back. Now, more on the decision makers, like I just told you about with the D magazine. Realtors need masks to introduce themselves and keep houses clean during showings. There are open houses around in my neighborhood all the time. They're the same way in your neighborhood. Get a hold of Logo Mats. They'll send you some 1 foot square mat samples. Go to an open house about an hour before, leave the mat, leave the catalog, and a note on the front door. The realtor comes to open up the open house. He or she has to see what you've left. You're getting the information right to the decision maker. I've done this before. It works. And then if you want to do the right thing, about 15 minutes before the open house is over, go into the open house, introduce yourself to the realtor and say, hey, I didn't want to bug you. I just wanted to let you know I'm the one that left you the mat sample. Talk about getting the decision maker. All they can do is tell you no, but realtors really can't tell you no in a firm way, because they don't want you going out and telling people in the community that they were mean to you. Great little way to get the decision maker and get it going. Food trucks. Want to meet a decision maker? Call on food trucks. That woman with a black hat on is serving this fella. I guarantee she's the owner of that food truck. When you go to food trucks, just ask, are you the owner? They're there. They can't get away from you. That's another decision maker meeting opportunity. But they need cups. They need food packaging. They need napkins. All food trucks need this. You can get those from Trainer, Jamie H at trainergraphics.com. They also need folding chairs and folding tables. You can get these from Southern Plus. I always talk about Southern Plus because I love Southern Plus. And they will send you samples. Email order entry at southernplus.com and say, I watched Sanders' webinar. Could you send me a sample, or how do I get one? And go and show these products to food truck owners. Same way selling beer tap holders. People go to craft breweries now all the time. There must be 35 craft breweries in Dallas. The owner, the decision maker, is usually at a craft brewery. You want to go in and call on and meet the decision maker? Go in there, you'll meet the owner. You don't want to chat up the bartender. He's not a decision maker. Go and say, hey, is y'all's owner in? I just want to show him something. I guarantee you got a good chance of seeing that person. Price sellers will talk to anyone. Don't be a price seller and talk to the bartender. Be an idea seller and talk to the owner. John.G at creativeawards.net. John Gotchi's a fine person. He will show you or tell you how to sell custom taps to breweries. And once you start doing that, you can get all their other promo business, because I've done that type of selling before. Restaurant and bar business is phenomenal. Here's another Edwards pitch. The good thing is, in any bar and restaurant, the owner is usually hanging around. You go in, have some drinks at the bar, say, well, can I talk to you about your uniforms? Same way if you go into a restaurant. I'm talking about put you right in front of the owner. They have a hard time being rude to you if you're in their restaurant giving them money. Chat them up in a nice way. Go sell bars and restaurants uniforms. Edwards is a great company. I'm using them as an example because it's a great way to meet decision makers. And there's a great coupon down at the left with B. Guerin at edwardsgarment.com and his phone number. He is a great person and can teach you how to sell uniforms to bar or restaurants. Now let's talk about firing bad clients. I've dealt with bad clients all my life, or I did it one time till I learned. I thought, I'm going to get rid of them. I'm better off without bad clients. So instead of catering to price conscious clients, fire them and look for full price buyers. Take the time that you would calling every supplier looking for better price, yak, yak, yak. Just get rid of the problem customers. Those could be ones that want too many samples, slow payers, bad communicators, but fire them, because buyers looking for the cheapest prices usually monopolize your time. They waste your time, so get rid of them. Fire them before they fire you. And here's the thing on the left about selling Sturgis products now. Remember I talked about Sturgis? I went up there last month when I went up to Rapid City, South Dakota, and I went through Sturgis. I was just nosy. I just wanted to see Sturgis, but I am telling you, you go call on every biker shop, Harley shop, whatever it is in your neighborhood, and talk to them now about giving their customers things to take to Sturgis for them. I don't know how many people go to Sturgis, 200,000, 300,000, 100,000, however many it is. That is a big deal. Now is the time to call on motorcycle dealers. You can sell them products from Burlacamp, like license plate frame holders or the kickstand pad holders that keep the stand pad up and keeps the bike from falling over. Sales at burlacamp.com for those. Remember, sell motorcycle dealers now and fire bad clients. And you sell more profitable orders by increasing customer callback rates. Look at this poor guy up here to the right. He looks like Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, I can't ever win the Super Bowl. Well, I live here. I can say that. I don't like the guy either. But nobody calls him back who's important. All he does is get callbacks because he is just a busybody. That's my statement on the Cowboys. But I'm telling you, increase return rates by stating your reason for a call, not being vague, saying what you mean. Never leave cheap messages like, call me, have a really good deal for you. I know that distributors do that all the time. So are you leaving low-cost messages, or are you leaving informative messages that get people to call you back? And Quickie Manufacturing, I've got their logo on the screen. That's not a supplier. It's going to readily give you EQP pricing. They don't do it, but that is the best magnet, key tag, and luggage tag supplier in the industry, bar none. I've known Mike Burns, who owns that company. They're not cheap, but boy, I'm telling you, when you need your order done, they're going to do it right. So don't be a cheap seller by using good messages. Cheap sellers cannot think ahead. So let's talk about selling football season right now. Southern Plus has got some great event products. These clear bags are going to be needed for now for baseball. I mean, baseball and outdoor events are back. You can sell chairs for tailgating from Southern Plus. You can sell umbrellas. Call on your own school. I can't believe that some people, they went to their school. I went to TCU. I used to do business with sports marketing over there, and I went to high school. I sold my high school shirts for their reunions. Call on your schools. Clear totes are purchased in big quantities, and they're needed for events now. And the same way with chairs, they're needed for tailgating now and in the fall. Now, let's talk about price shoppers. Do they know, or price sellers, do they know how many pounds chairs hold? Of course they don't. They're selling cheap chairs, so they don't want the issue of how many pounds a chair will hold. A lot of these chairs break at 250 pounds. I don't know how many pounds Southern Plus holds, but maybe up to 400. I know it's a lot more than what these cheap chair companies offer. Email Brandon Craig, Brandon at southernplus.com, and say, you know what? Sanders told me you could tell me how to handle price objections. Just like David Blaze can help you sell, Brandon Craig can help you answer price objections. I've known him for a long time. Brandon at southernplus.com. He will tell you how to handle cheap sellers based on their products, because Southern Plus is not the cheapest chair and blanket, umbrella supplier, but to me, they're the best. Learn how to answer objections by selling quality products and why. And we're talking about getting back to school now. Teachers need gifts. Good grief. Can you imagine being a teacher now and what you've got to go through with all the politics and people being sick? sell back to school products to your schools. Brandon at southernplus.com again. He will send you a cool tote bag sample that's a great thing to take up to the high school you went to, take it to the college you went to, take it to the junior high you went to, and say, hey, let's do some teacher gifts, or let's do some student gifts. Southern Plus has all kinds of them. That's a little call that they're going to have a hard time shopping you on price when you actually went to the school. Now, 3M, when I visited their booth at the Chicago ASI show, I did not know they had custom printed note banner rolls. This is a great product for events, like for those football games coming up, the baseball games, any type of indoor event with limited seating. These are rolls. I think they're 4,000 feet, but don't hold me to that. I just learned about these last week. Banner rolls are needed for outdoor events and activities. These are made by 3M. They're made by the original Post-it note company. You can use these to seal off different areas of seating, rooms, whatever. At the ASI show, they had a lot of that show floor sealed off because they did not want people venturing out from behind the booths. This is a great product from a quality supplier. You want samples of these? It's Don at sellpromoproducts.com. Now, I do volunteer work all the time. Greatest way for me to network and get people to buy from me. I love animals. Now, look at this little dog right here from the SPCA. I send the SPCA $100 each month, and I get their magazine, which is so cool. This little dog was born with these deformed front legs. Well, somebody raised the money to buy him a little wheel thing to go on his front legs and fostered him out. Now, can you imagine if you had fostered that dog and the owner or whoever was going to adopt the dog came to pick you up? Was he a CEO? Was she a marketing director? Was he a company owner? Was she a good person? Even if you didn't get any business out of it, you've done the right thing. But I have met more customers doing volunteer work. You want to shut down price cutters, do volunteer work, and meet people that are like-minded. Meet people that love animals. If you love animals and they do, they're not going to go buy from the cheap seller who doesn't have a cat or a dog. And here's a great Trainer graphics coupon on the screen. Remember, I talked to you about Trainer on food truck products. Now let's trade out product for services. I talk about this in every webinar because I've traded out products with my vet for 15 years. I had Betty and Gracie, and I had to put down my last one, Gracie, in December. Well, I had been doing a trade out with my vet for 15 years, and I was just honest with her. She wanted to reorder her bags, and I said, you know, I got to be honest with you, I don't have anything to trade out anymore. You know, Betty and Gracie are both dead. And she says, don't worry about it, Don. You've done such a good job for us. You just send us a bill. And I sold them 2,000 plastic bags, and I made $800 after I didn't have anything to trade out anymore. So get the business by trading out. You'll make 45% on your orders. I know that the vets probably make that or more on theirs. So get something out of somebody that you do business with. Again, M. Wadsworth at Logo Mats LLC for mats. Mats are needed by every vet in the country. So trade out with people you do business with. I work elections all the time. Elections will get you more like-minded people than anybody. People are so wound tight today on elections. I've gotten customers from people because I'd say, hey, do you know think you're buying from so-and-so? You know, I heard he voted for so-and-so. I actually got a big account like that. I was just joking. And then I said, oh, you know, I was just joking about that. He goes, oh, no, Don, I didn't like him anyway. What do you got? But I volunteer for elections. I meet more like-minded people. I've sold political candidates mats. Great program with Logo Mats is they will do political fundraising mats. Has the candidate's name on it and can be personalized with a family name. Great way to meet people volunteering for elections and selling mats, not only to candidates, but to people who work for that candidate. Now, program selling eliminates price cutters. Here we're back to Edwards, but look at there in the 1970s in those leisure suits. Edwards was making these back then. People were out selling programs back then. Here's another program that Edwards did for the Kalamazoo Pant Company. That's Edwards, but they had Mike Ditka do a personal appearance to show how the NFL used Edwards garments, or at that time, 1962, Kalamazoo Pant Company. They were selling uniform programs then. The distributors that were buying them were doing wonderful. Sellers, distributors who sell uniform programs create forever income. And remember, don't be like the Dallas Zoo and never mention uniforms. I probably missed 100 grand worth of profit off of that. Remember those leisure suits and Mike Ditka when you need to sell uniforms. I used to sell a lot of name badge programs, big orders, 4,000 or 5,000 piece reorders at a time. I got that business because I knew how to sell programs. Cheap sellers have no clue on how to sell a program. All they know how to do is sell on price. Name badges are so needed right now due to virus-related employee turnover. The ID Line has a badge release program. You buy the badges up front. They stay in inventory. Your customer needs one badge. You send them to an email. You email them the URL where they can go in and place the orders themselves. You don't have to do anything but collect the money. Janders at idline.com if you want a full name badge selling kit. ID Line is a great company. Remember, cheap sellers are not smart enough to sell programs. So learn how to do it. Just like selling the uniforms, sell the vacation market now. Everybody is ready to get out. So if you go in a hotel, you have a timeshare company, you've got anything to do with vacation opportunities, go call on them with these uniform programs. Front desk people need shirts, pants, valet parkers, management, pool, spa, restaurant. It just goes on and on and on. But cheap sellers do not know how to sell programs. So email bgarrett at edwardsgarment.com and say, Sanders told me you could make me a millionaire selling uniforms. How do I do it? Let's see what he says to you. I bet he can do it. Now, if you want to remain independent but become part of a community, community selling will help you sell more than anything you can do because we all feel like we're alone. I talked about David and his training programs before, but he's affiliated with AIM. He has an inner circle program. He has his top secrets. These are all programs that you can communicate and share ideas with other distributors. For like 70 bucks a month, I think is what this costs. It's nothing. You have the chance. I belong to this, and every day there's a chat going on, and I actually get ideas from these chats. I've been doing this a long time, probably longer than the people in the chats, but I learn something from them every day. So email David at blazedrake.com about this, tell you how to do it. It's no obligation to learn about it. There's the 800 phone number, but there are different ways that by being part of a community, you can confer with other focused distributors, share ideas. You get training. They have a special Facebook page, idea share. Don't tell me you can't afford this. If you cannot afford help, you do not need to be selling promotional products. I'm not being harsh about it, but you've got to know what you're doing. You've got to learn answers quickly to common problems. And in this program, you will get that help. I'm sorry for that little, I don't know what you call that, out-of-body experience. Delta variant mask. They're going to be needed because the variant is coming back. You need masks. You can get them from Harvey at gympire.com. Remember, I pitched you on trucker caps, emblem programs, seed paper, but Harvey's masks are high quality. The nose flap helps prevent eyeglass fogging. Lanyards are needed now to keep masks in place. Harvey has those with imprints on them. He even has little emblems. Remember, we talked about put that emblem program, the lapel pin program. Well, if you bought some trucker caps and got the lapel pins, you could then put them on blank mask and make those masks imprinted. Those products will emblemize or make masks better. Again, Harvey at gympire.com. I have known him forever. Learn how to be a rush order specialist. I do rush orders all the time. Average profit is at least 55%. When you want to knock out a price seller, you be a rush order specialist. Somebody who needs something done and needs it quick. They don't care what they're charged. They want it done, and they want it done right. So learn how to sell those rush orders. And Snug Z, I talked about them on their hand sanitizer. They have a quick ship program right now. They'll ship about, I don't know how many products it is, 300 or 400 of them on 1-day service. So when you get into this supply chain problem, oh, I can't ship your order. There's much of these big mega suppliers that are making every excuse in the world. Go to Snugs for their 1-day service. I've used this and it works like a charm. So don't lose a rush order because you don't know who can deliver. Snugsy can deliver. Now, let's talk about the number of times I have asked suppliers for lower prices in the last 10 years. That is 0. I don't care about the price. I care about the supplier doing the order for me and doing it correctly. I am not a product pusher. I am an idea seller because that's why I make more money. You can too. Like this side panel imprint bag from Southern Plus. What a cool bag it is. You imprint on the gusset. You've got another imprint area. When people discuss it, more people discuss it when printing on the gusset. Order entry at southernplus.com for this, but I don't ask for lower pricing. Why should you? Learn how to sell. Here is how you can use Bishop. Edwards owns Bishop, and you can provide virtual samples of creative clothing products to people. Product pushers who sell on price, they don't have any ideas. They don't know how to do virtuals. You want to impress a new customer? You can provide them with a virtual from Edwards. That slide went too fast, but that's B. Guerin at Edwards Garment for those virtual clothing samples. I'm telling you, send those to people. They're going to know you know what you're doing. Now, we close an average of 65% of virtual sample that I create for people. And I'm giving you an example here. I did virtual mats for 5 customers, and I ended up selling 4 of them: Macho, Virginia Cook, Castle Creek Manor. Well, and I sold Grand Bank. I didn't sell Best Motor Court in Hot Springs, Arkansas, because I was there last March when the pandemic started, and that motel, it's an old 50s motel, it's been redone. They almost went out of business, so they couldn't buy the mats. But I am convinced if the pandemic had sold all 5 customers that I did virtuals for. You can get virtual samples done at logomatsllc.com. Now, if you want to talk about selling mats and you want to save customers money, instead of giving them EQP pricing, sell them. If they're doing a mat rental, tell them how bad mat rental is bad for them. Mat rentals are so expensive. The mats are raggy. The provider's supposed to come by and clean them. They don't. For the cost of a year, let's say $45 to rent a mat for a year, that's $500 a year. You can sell a great water hog mat from Logo Mats for $300, pocket $150, and then be down the road. Talk to your customers about how much they're overpaying by using mat rental businesses. A lot of distributors, especially price sellers, they don't know about mat rental, but if you'll take advantage of that, you will be able to get sales. Now, cheap sellers have little personality and few Facebook friends. I've got a bunch of Facebook friends, but I'm not posting, oh, buy from me, I'm cheaper. What I do is I post pertinent products at the time they're needed. Like it's rained a lot in Texas, so I did a deal on umbrellas. I've done one on back to school. Southern Plus has 55 product flyers to personalize, and you should text and post these on Facebook and LinkedIn. And you can even do straight line type. If you don't have a logo, the one in the middle is Don Sanders Marketing. You can just hum that right in off of Southern Plus's website. But remember, cheap sellers don't have a personality. The only thing they do is sell on price. Now, the bottom line on this is do not be an amateur by beating up suppliers over price. The time you spend on that, spend time looking for full paying clients. At last week's ASI show, I visited 70 booths. I never asked one of them about price. What I did ask them about, why are your products unique? How can I sell them? And do you do them on time? Not can you sell it to me cheaper? Now you can go to the Edwards website and you can create your own custom catalogs there like you can on the flyers with Southern Plus, but at Edwards you can also put your logo like my Don Sanders Marketing logo and that type. Look inside the catalog, you will love the selections. take that, make your own virtual catalogs, and email and post them to clients. I learned about this program at a show. If I'd gone to the Edwards booth and asked them what was cheaper, they would have never had the time to talk to me about how great that program is. Now, I've talked about before about telling people where I'll get my products. Everybody I know, if bought hand sanitizer from me or lanyards and whatever, I tell them I'm getting them from Snugs. And I want them to know where they are because I use this as a qualifying thing. If people try and go behind my back, I'll never sell them again. So I'm not worried about people going behind my back because I call on people that want quality, they pay full price, and they're not shoppers. But if you're afraid to tell your customers where their products are coming from, they're not the type of customers you need. You need to deal with honorable people, not price cutters. Customer care at snugsyusa.com if you want samples of lanyards, sanitizer, or any of these school products they have. You can visit their website. The demand for products like this is going to be immense in the fall when schools open back up. Now, price selling suppliers employ offshore customer service reps. I cannot understand people offshore because their grammar is not correct. I'm not ragging on anybody. It's just hard for me to understand. But if I need a straight answer, I can call Quickie. They're in Akron, Ohio, not Manila. These cheap, low-price suppliers have offshore customer service because they don't want to pay as much as Quickie would to have their sales reps or their customer service people in their factory in Akron. So you cannot sell if you cannot communicate. Don't risk buying from a cheap supplier and then having an order changed or whatever and not being able to communicate with them. Remember, Quickie's not going to give you EQP, but dadgum, if you want the industry best magnets, luggage tags, or the original Quickoin, I think it's the product of the century for PPAI a couple of years ago. That product is one of the first promotional products in the industry. You would email info@quickie.com and they will be happy to send you some samples that will come from Akron, Ohio. Now, I talked about David Blaze before. We only have 3 more slides here, so stay with me. If you want to be a part of the AIM, Inner Circle Top Secrets group, David at blazedrake.com. They have a Friday fireside chat demonstration every Friday where there's a supplier presentation, distributors chat over it. You want to be motivated and set up every Friday to learn something? Email David at blazedrake.com and say, you know, Sanders talked about the Fireside Friday thing. I want to know more about it. You want help? That's a great way to get it. Now, starting with next month's webinar, we're going to start having suppliers talk to you specifically about their products and how to sell them. I've known Chris Hodge at Innovation Line for a long time. He is a fine guy and a superb idea person. So when you tune in next month, you'll be able to hear from Chris. Is going to talk to you about current marketing trends. That's who to sell and how to use Innovations Line's free digital selling tools to be successful. Now, here is all of the email addresses for everybody and every offer I've talked about. And Tiffany is going to talk next, but I just wanted to bring out Don at sellpromoproducts.com. If you will email me as soon as you get through talking or Tiffany's presentation, I will send you the replay of this webinar, and in the replay, it will also include the email addresses so you can keep up with them. But with that said, and me talking as fast as I could, Tiffany is now going to make you a genius. Please proceed.
I don't know about that, but thanks so much, Don, for the time. I am excited to have Chris Hodges next webinar as well. He's just that Innovation Line's got a really good line of products, and one of the things that I've been leaning on this year is leaning on our suppliers for ideas and advice. And I'm really excited to start bringing some suppliers in so you can get their perspective as well on how you can present their product lines to customers. So, like my name is Tiffany Tarr, and I'm with Distributor Central, and I know we're coming up on an hour, so I will go quickly. But if anyone has questions, please feel free to send those in through the chat, and I'll make sure to get those answered. And if I don't get them answered with everyone, I'll get them answered directly back to you. And I'm with Distributor Central, and if you're not familiar with Distributor Central, you should be. We are a completely free resource to every distributor in the industry, and we really approach technology the way that suppliers approach their paper catalogs. They would never charge you for a paper catalog. We would never charge you to research products or present products to your customers in a digital environment. And one of the things that I still think is going to be very important in 2021 and 2022 is continuing to maintain a high level presence on through technology. So I know that we're starting to see things open back up. I know that we were just in Chicago. We were able to start seeing customers face to face again. But I think that there's going to be a hybrid moving forward. It could all go away in a minute, and we're back to where we were. But at the very least, it's going to be important to continue to maintain a presence online, and having a really good website is going to be very key. And if you're not familiar with Distributor Central, a couple of the things that we provide to distributors is the ability to research all the suppliers that Dawn has talked about today. We also have as idea platforms, DC deals, so any suppliers that are sending out any specials or new ideas or just marketing pieces on their product line, you can capture all of that right from your Distributor Central dashboard. And then there are, and Don mentioned this in the beginning of the webinar, on your dashboard, there is a set of products that suppliers will actually offer a discount on, a $5 order discount by placing the order through Distributor Central. It helps streamline their order processing, so they want to give that savings back to you by offering $5 off any order that you're placing through your Distributor Central account. But the thing that I really just think is the coolest thing that we do is our websites. And Distributor Central hosts thousands of websites for distributors across the industry. And it's not just having a website that I think is important these days. It's having it's being able to communicate with your customer and using a digital platform to do that. And one of the things that I think is really important is niche markets, or segmenting your website either from just a page standpoint or creating multiple websites to focus on niche markets. And Distributor Central gives you the ability to do that. We host all of those domain names at absolutely no cost. If you don't have a domain name, I would encourage you to get one. You can get one really reasonably. GoDaddy is a place where I've purchased them in the past. There's even an extension .promo. So instead of .com, there's even a .promo as a website extension that you can use. And then Distributor Central can show you how to optimize that website URL and make it really work for you. So just within your Distributor Central account, you're going to see all kinds of templates that you can use to create website, either niche markets or a global website. Our team, if you're uncomfortable with doing this, our team will even help you do it just by emailing at info@distributorcentral.com, and we'll send you back an email with some requirements on your logo and those types of things. But you can choose a template, and our team will help you customize that template to match your logo colors and to match your logo, get your logo loaded into it. And then one of the things that you can do, and this is important for suppliers that you do have preferred relationships with, or suppliers that you're really partnering with to sell more of their products either this year or in the subsequent years, is you can take your website and you can limit it down to the suppliers that you want to do business with. And it's a really simple function to do that. Our new collections manager that we rolled out in the beginning of this year makes it really simple to choose either sets of products that you want to use, or maybe you're creating a website that's, or a set or a product grouping on your website that's less than $5. The product collections tool will allow you to very plug and play like choose filters that you want to have on your website. So if you wanted to say, I only want to work with a specific group of suppliers, or I only want to work with a certain type of product, or I'm only doing apparel on this website, you can use the filters in the collection manager to limit the website down to what you want your customers to have access to. And I think that's important because it helps your customer know who you actually want them to be, you want to be purchasing from. So if I wanted to do a website that I'm only going to focus on Snuggs products because they're a really great supplier, I can just tell the site that's the only supplier that I want to have displaying on my website. But we're seeing some distributors use this a lot with their preferred vendors, and really just focusing their marketing efforts and their presentation efforts around their preferred vendors. And that's a way that Distributor Central will help you do that. In everything that we do at no cost for distributors. You can build out product sets and product collections that you can use to create presentations to send to customers. One of the things that I really like, and it still helps save a lot of time, and I use this all the time when I'm helping distributors create presentations, is there is oftentimes a grouping of products that you always present for golf tournaments, or you always present for school systems, or trucker cabs. You always want to send those. That's a product grouping that you like to send. You can create lists of products. And when you create a list of a product, so you don't have to keep thinking about this over and over and over again, I can just go back to the list that I've created. And if disposable mass is something that I was thinking of a customer and I knew that that was something that they would come up, it's time for them to reorder them again, or this is something that I was just thinking about, I can just grab those lists and send a customized email over to the customer without having to redo the search and putting that level of effort in. So if there was a group of products that I really like for holiday gifts, I'm ready to go. I just have to open the list. It's going to bring back all those products, and then I can create either a quote or I can create an email and send that over to the customer without having to redo the search and pulling that information back together. So those are some ways that Distributor Central will save you time and definitely save you money, because everything that we do at absolutely no cost for distributors, and help you create a platform that you can use to sell to customers through a digital communication, and really customize your website to make it speak to you and to your business. And our team can help you do that. And all you need to do is email either me or info@distributorcentral.com, and we'll get someone to start helping. Don, that's really all I had today. I just wanted to focus on how to, hone in on the suppliers that do a good job, and that they're going to get those products out there and ship on time, and how you can recommunicate that on your website so that your customers aren't being overwhelmed by the noise, and they're really looking at the things that the distributors' customers need to be looking at.
Well, Tiffany, I think you did a great job. And the thing that I think that I really want to reiterate is I like the fact that you can limit the suppliers, because one of the reasons we were successful is we had real strong relationships with 20 suppliers, and I tried to sell all my orders to them. And I got my preferential supplier treatment, which I'm going to say. And I think it's a real helpful way to do this. And I want to thank everybody for showing up today. And remember, if you want the webinar replay, it's don@sellpromoproducts.com. And if you will email me when we're done, I will send that to you. And Tiffany, you did a wonderful job. And Tiffany and I will see you again next month. And I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for watching.